There it is. There it is. All right. So today today we are going over the fourth chapter in the very long and very thought-provoking uh Mere Christianity. And something that I love is that the deeper we go sometimes and uh the more in depth that we dive and just the more that we look into it's incredible because Lewis really showed a way of thinking not just Christianly as people might say or anything, but he taught how to think humanly. And he also with his apologetics and his um with his atheist background, he used his mind throughout his whole life, but he also used his when he became a Christian and he began to understand more, he used his both his heart and his mind, and he became well what he's known for today. Now, one of the things that we kind of touched on very specifically, we kind of focused more on the very first page, page 88, and I'll read kind of the very first paragraph, kind of the whole thing. I didn't do that at church today, but I also struggled near that at the end there. But let's see if I can do it today or late a few hours later. I have said that we should never get a Christian society unless most of us become Christian individuals. That does not mean, of course, that we can put off doing anything about society until some imaginary date in the far future. It means that we must begin both jobs at once. The job of seeing how do as you would be done can be applied in detail to modern society. And second, the job of becoming the sort of people who really would apply it if we saw how. I want to begin considering what the Christian idea of a good man is, the Christian specific specific. Okay, just so we're clear, that it was the the specification middle area, whereas having trouble wording earlier. For those who were there that choose to watch this now, for the human machine. Continuing, before I come down to details, there are two more general points I should like to make. First of all, since Christian morality claims to be a technique for putting the human machine right, I think you should like to know how it is related to another technique, which means to take similar claim, namely, uh, what that word is right there. The that one. Yeah. I'm having trouble pronouncing that one now. But so pretty much what we kind of discussed though is the kind of the first two coming together and how uh the English the doing as you would be done by or doing to others as you'd have done to you is one of those situations where, as we talk about in scripture, is a reference to that. We should do unto others as we would have them do unto us, because we should treat others with love, we should treat others with kindness. But one of the things that society has, and this is not something that I touched on and something that I regret not touching now, is, you know, people are not tolerant in the sense that they want, excuse me, they want you to respect them, but they may not respect you in the way you think, the way that we put things together, the way that we believe as Christians. If we just don't believe it, we're you know we're homophobic, we're we're this, we're that, you know. I am not going to judge someone for being a part of the LGBTQ plus community. I'm pretty sure I missed a few letters, but that community, I am going to show my frustration though in a lot of ways. I even showed that today, because I deal with almost on the daily the fact that there are many in that community that, you know, demand respect from us but don't respect us, that treat us in a certain manner but don't uh treat us in the same respectful manner that they demand to be treated. uh Excuse me. I am all the reader Red Alert to do it because Red Alert I have found that when he is talking off his own subject, and on a subject I do know something about, um, um sorry, I lost where I was. I do know something about, namely language. He is very ignorant, but the word I'm not even gonna try to pronounce the word right there. Itself, apart from all the philosophical additions that Fraud and others have made to it, free the name FREUD is not in the least con contrary why am I struggling right now? Good gravy. Contradictory to Christianity. Its technique overlaps with Christian morality at some points, and it should not be a bad thing. If every person knew something about it, but it does not run the same course all the way, for the two techniques are doing rather different things. You know, the idea morality, it seems to have changed in the concepts of the world today. You know, it is interesting to see how the world is shifting in many ways. But in this way, in page 90, put it this way. Imagine three men who go to war. One has the ordinary natural fear of danger that any man has, and he subdues it by moral effect and becomes a brave man. Let us suppose that that the other two have, as a result of things in their subconscious ex ex irrational fears, which no amount of moral effect can do anything about. Now, suppose that the word I'm gonna just skip over comes along and cures these two. That is, he puts them both back in the position of the first man. Well, it is just then that one problem is over, and the moral problem begins, because now that they are cured, these two men might take quite different lines. The first might say, "Thank goodness I've got rid of all these doodahs. Now at last I can do what I always want to do, my duty to my country." But the other might say, "Well, I'm very glad that I now feel morality cool under fire." But of course, that doesn't alter the fact that I'm still jolly well determined to look after number one and let the other uh, chap do the dangerous job whenever I can. Indeed, one of the good things about feeling less frightened is that I can now look after myself much more effectively and can be much clever at hiding the fact from the others. Now, this difference is a purely moral one, and the word I cannot do anything about it. However, much you improve the man's raw morale, mature. You have still, I'm just skipping words that I can't utterly word right now. You have got something else, the real free choice of the man on the um, presented to him, either to put his own advantage first or to put it last. This free choice is the only thing that the morality is concerned with. So, if I'm understanding what C.S. Lewis is saying with morality and that word, I'm gonna just keep trying to skip because I'll take too long trying to pronounce it. We are seeing the fact that you need both to be moral. You need both to have that Christian perspective, if I'm understanding what he is saying correctly. And I'm gonna kind of skip a little bit. I'm sure, again, I'm sure I'm missing things, and we do miss things while we go over the chapters on Wednesday nights. But we could go on for hours reading these chapters. But on page 93, one last point. Remember that, as I said, the right direction leads not only to peace, but to knowledge. When a man is getting better, he understands more and more clearly the evil that is still left in him. When a man is getting worse, he understands his own badness less and less. A more morality, more a bad man knows he is very is not very good. A thoroughly bad man thinks he is all right. This is common sense, really. You understand sleep when you are awake, not while you are sleeping. You can see mistakes in artith when your mind is working properly. While you are making them, you cannot see them. You can understand the nature of drunkenness when you are sober, not when you are drunk. Good people know about both good and evil. Bad people do not know about either. I think that is a good way to end that because he's really talking about the fact that you need to be able to understand both good and evil, and a good man can understand good and evil. Now, he's not saying women, not women, but just a human being. And while with that being said, the importance of that is the idea that sorry, is the we need you gotta have one without the other. And I like I said, I know there are parts of this chapter that we skipped, or I missed, or I might have misworded, or I could not word at all because I'm struggling right now with words. So I will see everyone later.